Yeah, late last year. There's an airline called Bonza, and they asked me to come on their maiden flight to Darwin, and it was the first time they were like exiting Queensland for flights. I think so. It might not have been, but yeah, they asked me to come on, and since it was an overnight flight, they asked me to read my book as a bedtime story to all of the passengers. I got to read a part of it because they wouldn't let me read the whole thing over the intercom. Yeah, and afterwards, because we gave some of the passengers books, like to read along, and people would be like putting their hands up, going like, "Hey, can you come sign my book?" And I'd be like, "Sure."
Okay, everyone, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. I have with me an amazing young author, and I'm so excited to have him on the show. He's joining me from the other side of the world compared to where I am. And I'm so excited. We're going to get all things sprouted and sprout things. We're going to sprout new ideas here on the podcast, and I'm excited to have Lincoln on the show. Lincoln, welcome to Living the Next Chapter. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me here. I feel like I'm supposed to say something now, but I'm not quite sure.
You're here, and that's the best thing. Lincoln, tell everybody, where do you live? Where are you in this world?
I'm in the Sunshine Coast in Australia, in Queensland. I feel like Queensland is probably supposed to go before Australia.
I love it. It's good. Okay, so Lincoln, how old are you?
I'm 10.
10.
I'm 11 this year.
Cool. There you go. You have how many books now?
2.
2 books.
Yeah.
How old were you when you wrote your first book?
I was 8 years old. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Lincoln, when I was 8 years old, I was not writing books. I don't know if I could even tie my own shoe at 8 years of age. And here you are writing books. That's amazing.
Thank you.
So when you go to school, Lincoln, do you have I'm trying to remember. I'm an old man, so I'm trying to remember. But we would have times in class where the teacher would give us time to read. Go grab a book, sit at your desk, and read something. Yeah. Do you have anything like that in your class?
Yeah, we do.
So do you ever just pull out your own book and go, "I'm just going to read my own book"? Because hey, I'm the only one here with my own book, right?
No, I don't really, because we don't.
You should do that. You should do that.
Okay, sure.
That'd be pretty interesting, right? Because everybody else is like, "Hey, I want to write a book," right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about book number 1. What is it called?
It's called Sprout's Idea.
Okay. How did you come up with the idea to write Sprout's Idea?
So, in February of 2022, there was a music festival that my guitar teacher was hosting, and he asked...
Wait a second. You play guitar?
Yeah.
Oh, I play guitar, so we're best friends now. Okay, keep going. Yay.
Yeah, so he was doing 3 generations, telling stories, I guess. And I was his youngest student. So he asked me to tell a story. And the other 2 generations were talking about life experience and what's happened in the past. But I was 8 years old. I didn't really have much life experience. So I just came up with a story. So so that's kind of when the idea came to me. And they were planting 1,000 trees at the festival. Well, not at the festival, but at a different location. And so then I thought, if they're planting 1,000 trees, then I'll make it about trees. So he told me to make it a story of hope. So we came up with the idea, and one night it just came to me, and we were sitting on the couch, Mom was sitting on the couch with me, with her notepad, and she was writing everything down as I was saying it. And yeah, and then I spoke it on stage in front of 100 people at the festival, and afterwards, so many people were coming up to me going "You should make that a book." So we decided, like, why not? Sure, we can do that. So yeah,
Wow. You came up with the whole idea on your own, like
yeah,
nobody helping you. You had the whole thing.
yes, but we did go through like 8 versions of it before we found the right one. So
Good.
it wasn't like the first one is the right one, because most of the time that's not the case.
So you start at 8 years of age, you write your first book, and now you have the idea for the second book, which is just coming out. So where did the idea for book number 2 come from, and what's the title of book 2?
The title of book 2 is Super Sprout, and um honestly, it took a lot longer to think up than the first one did. Because, like, the first one kind of just came to me in my head, but the second one took a little bit to figure out, like, because as the name suggests, it's, like, based on, like, superheroes and superpowers. So we had to kind of, like, figure out, like, what kind of superpowers to include and, like, what to do after we've included that. So it took a little bit longer than the first one, but we got there.
You have 2 books in the world. Like, again, I when I was 10, I wasn't writing books. I've never written a book, and I'm like over 50. I'm a really old man. So you're way ahead of me. This is great. Do you think you're going to keep writing as you grow older, and you're going to keep writing more books?
I hope I do.
What else would you be interested in writing about?
Um, Honestly, I'm not really that sure, but I guess I can figure that out because, I mean, I got plenty of time.
What's it like having your mom there to help you write your books? She's a great person. She knows a lot of stuff. Is it nice to have her there to help you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I could do the whole thing if she wasn't there because
Right.
I don't really know how to do a lot of that stuff. That's why she helps me.
There you go. Oh, so much love. So much love. Okay, so Lincoln, if there's somebody listening and they're 10 and they're thinking, Lincoln, I can't do this. I'm just a kid. I can't write a book. And you're like, no, you can do it. What kind of things would you say to somebody who wants to write a book but doesn't think that anybody would ever read their book?
I think I would say, like, if you want to write a book, then, like, just give it a try. And if you really, really want to, then keep trying. And if you don't get it first try, that's normal. And yeah, if you really want to, keep going. Never stop unless you want to.
For your artwork, I love your books. They're beautiful. The pictures on there are great. Tell me about how you got all this beautiful artwork in your book as well. Like, who helped you with that?
Well, we got an illustrator because I'm not very good at drawing. So we got an illustrator. She's down in Sydney in New South Wales. Yeah. Yeah, so she's down in New South Wales and Sydney. I know I've probably said that a few times, but just checking. And she's really good at drawing because she did both the books. And yeah, so we kind of contacted her because how I got the illustrator was she was actually doing Mom's Phoenixes on the book covers.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just stole her for my books. So yeah, it worked out great.
Did you give her any ideas of what you wanted to see, or did she just come up with that all by herself?
No, I did get some little like sketches of what I wanted it to look like.
Okay.
And like I said before, I'm not very good at drawing, so she kind of just amplified it by like 3,000. So
what about your friends at school and stuff when they find out that you have a book? What do they think of that?
Honestly, most of the time, they're really happy for me, but sometimes I actually forget that I've done that. Because once everyone knows, it's like, oh yeah, we don't really need to talk about it anymore. Because like, yeah, it's really cool, but I mean, we've already talked about it a bunch, so we can kind of just move on and like get like other stuff in our head. I don't know. But sometimes I forget that it's actually happened.
How many copies of your own book do you have in your room?
I don't really have any in my room. We just keep them all in the garage
Okay.
because they're in like huge boxes.
Okay.
Yeah, we take the boxes to like events that we go to, just so that we don't have to like have a whole pile of books in our hands. We can just store them somewhere for, yeah.
We have people listening to the show, Lincoln, and they want to buy your book, but they don't know what the book's about. Can you tell us give us an idea of what book number 1 is about, so we know a little bit about the story in the book?
Okay. So, the main character, Sprout, he's the youngest out of the forest, and he is turning 1. It's his birthday. And then a character called Shade Man, he comes up and he blocks the sun. So the trees and Sprout need to find a way to get him down from there without, like, I don't know, like hurting him or something. Because they don't want to, even though he's blocking out the sun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they need the sun to grow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's book 1.
Yeah.
We're not going to give away everything in the book because we want people to go buy the book. So we're not telling you the whole story, everyone. You have to go buy the book from Lincoln. What about book number 2? Can you give us an idea of what the main storyline is in book number 2?
Yeah. So Sprout looks around at his forest family, and everyone has something special about them, like sort of like a superpower. So Sprout goes, "Oh, what's special about me? I don't really have anything, so I want to go find a superpower." So he goes on a journey, like in his imagination, trying to find the best superpower for him. And yeah, and once he can't seem to find one, so he just needs a little bit encouragement, a little bit of encouragement from his friends.
Great.
Is that good?
Okay, so yeah, perfect. Lincoln, where do people go to find the books? How can we buy a copy? Like, I'm in Canada. I can't wait to get my copy. But where can we go to buy the book? Do you have a website? Where do you want people to go?
You can go to sproutsidea.com. We made it nice and simple so that anyone can go on there, and yeah, and then you can find and also you can go onto Amazon if you want.
Good, and we can buy it from Amazon. Great.
And you can go onto Amazon, or you can go onto the official website.
Okay, so Lincoln, I have an idea for you. I want a Sprout t-shirt so that I can wear it to everywhere I go and show people how much I love your books. So someday, will you ever have something I can buy that I could wear?
I mean, I actually have one.
Wait a minute, can I borrow it?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know that it would fit you, because
Okay, well, maybe someday I'll be able to buy a shirt or something, okay? I'll be one of your first people to buy. Oh, wait, there. Oh, come on, show me that. Oh, I want that shirt. Come on.
There's only one, like, fail, well, not fail, but, like, one, like, this, I don't know how to say it. One thing that wasn't supposed to be in there, if you see, there's actually the computer mouse on there, accidentally.
The little pointer guy? I love it.
Yeah, we noticed
That's
that,
good.
and yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah,
One of one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my hand up, Lincoln. I want to buy a shirt in the future, so keep me in mind, okay? Let me know when all that's available. That's really cool. Okay, so Lincoln, before I let you go, because I know you don't have to go to school today, right? You're off from school?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can go back to bed if you want.
No, we can't.
Anything else you want to say to a young author? Let's encourage somebody to write a book. What do you want to say to somebody who's maybe 10 years old, 8 years old? How can we encourage them to go and write their own story and have their own book? What do you want to say to them?
Keep trying. Do it till you make it, I guess. Sort of write down your ideas if you want, and then like try to make a story from there.
Okay.
And yeah.
Excellent. Lincoln, thank you so much for coming on my podcast. First time you've been on a podcast, right?
Yeah.
You've been on the radio. You've done other things, which is amazing. But the first time on my podcast, I'm so happy to have you on. I'm going to ask everyone to go buy your book. So we have people from around the world that are listening to us, Lincoln. So I hope you sell many, many books as we all go out and buy a book. And we're going to leave you a good review as well, so that helps you sell more books, okay?
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody listening, all the information for Lincoln is in the show notes. Please go buy a book and then buy a second and a third and a fourth book and send them to everybody. Just give them to random strangers. Just hand them the copy of the book. And let's all help Lincoln become a real successful author. Lincoln, congratulations on 2 books. I can't wait to hear what you're going to do next. And I'd love to have you come back in the future if you ever want to come back, okay?
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lincoln. Okay, so how cool is that, all right? We need more young authors in this world, everyone. Put your hand up if you agree. I agree. And I would love to host more young authors on this podcast. If you know of an author who's young and new and wants to get on and share, the more kids we get into writing, the better, everyone. So I would love to host any of the young authors in your world to come on the show and talk about their books. Make sure they reach out to me at livingthenextchapter.com, and we would love to host them here and let them talk about their books and promote their books so that we can have the next generation of writers promoted here on the show. Okay, so livingthenextchapter.com. Head over there. All the information to be on the show is there on the website. And let's get your young writer on the podcast. The more young writers, the better. Thanks for listening. Please go and support our young authors. Purchase the books. Purchase multiple books. Leave amazing reviews. Share this episode out to the world so that we can help this young author reach their dream of selling their book and encourage them to keep writing. We need more authors, especially young authors. Thank you for supporting this podcast by listening to the very end, by doing this right here, you and me. We're telling the app, Apple, Google, YouTube, whatever it is, that this is a good podcast because we stayed to the end. So you're doing it right now. You're helping this podcast grow. Thank you for listening to the Living the Next Chapter podcast. Catch you on the next episode. And to all our young authors, keep writing and come on the show and tell us about your books. Take care, everybody.